Hello everybody, I hope that you're doing really well. The time has finally come for us to debate and discuss if we should put our money on SNK's pocket and buy Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. We are gonna cover everything, from gameplay, matchmaking, netcode to general quality of life features, so stay until the end of the video so you can take a conscious decision about buying this game and putting your money on it. And the reason why it is the best moment to have this debate now is because even though we're playing the second open beta, the full release of this game is on like 3 weeks or a month. So the chances of anything significant changing from here to that moment are very low. So this is a great benchmark to decide if you should put your money on the game or not. So let's actually get into it. The first discussion that we need to have is basically the big criticism that most of the community gave to SNK around the first beta, which is the quality of the matchmaking and the netcode. Okay, matchmaking and netcode are nowadays basic features for any modern fighting game to succeed, and to have good net play is basically the most essential feature because most people play fighting games at home nowadays, or with friends online. So did SNK fix the matchmaking and the netcode or not? And well, from opinions online and what I experienced during the first day of the beta, which was basically like 3 or 4 hours playing, or even more to be honest, the game has been significantly improved. Okay, the matchmaking is actually very good now. When I played during the first day, I basically got matches every like 20 seconds or even less. I didn't even have time to land a combo. I was waiting on like training mode to have online matches, ranked matches, and I started landing a combo. I did like one and then boom, match. So the matchmaking has been very significantly improved. It is much better. And I basically didn't even laugh, dude. Like, the matchmaking was so good that I only play with people. And that is great news because it is a basic feature that these type of games need to have. It seems like SNK went around it and actually fixed it. So that's huge, and huge props to SNK for that. Then we have the second basic feature, which is netcode. Okay, there were also netcode problems during the first beta. A ton of people had stuttering issues. Like, for example, you would play someone that even though had a good connection with you, the rollback frames would spike anyway. And my experience during the second beta personally is that that is actually gone. Okay, I played again for 4 or 5 hours on the first day. I played with a ton of people that had a good connection with me, and I didn't have any stuttering whatsoever. So it seems like it has been fixed. And not only that, but I also fought people with high MS to try the netcode out basically and to put it out there. I played with people with 180 MS, 200, 250, and I could play with all of them. Like, I could actually fight them even though there were some, rollback spikes, because it is normal to have them in that specific context. It seems like if you have a good internet connection, you're not gonna have a problem with the netcode, It seems like all the problems with the netcode now are present basically when you, one, play on Wi-Fi that is very bad quality, or two, you're finding someone that is incredibly far away from your region. So it seems like the netcode has also been fixed and immensely improved, which is very good. And again, props to SNK for that, because they basically fixed this in like a month. Okay, so it was a really good work by them. And if you were worried again by the matchmaking and the netcode, you shouldn't be anymore. Now, what is the disclaimer for this section that is very relevant? You should play the second beta yourself and try and see what happens, because netcode and matchmaking are always something that varies, from person to person when it comes to how they experience the quality of it. So I would recommend very, immensely that you should go ahead, install the second open beta, and give it a try yourself to see if you have a good matchmaking and netcode experience, so you can not only hear my opinion and the opinion of other people online to buy the game and decide that, but to also just play and see what happens with your computer, your PC, your internet experience with the game. If you have been enjoying the video or find it useful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, and leave a comment. Do you think that Fatal Fury is a game worth buying or not? Now I would like to briefly mention gameplay. Okay, this is a fighting game, so gameplay is at the core of the discussion. And even though it is something subjective that you like or not, the gameplay of a fighting game, I think that this game actually has objectively good, things when it comes to the gameplay. So I would like to mention them and talk about them to see if you maybe agree with them and they are another reason for you to buy the game. And the core thing related to this is basically the fighting game community. Okay, the FGC has been complaining systematically about other modern fighting games like SF6, for example, Throw Loops, or like Tekken 8 because it's mashy and scrubbly, and the Season 2 announcement looks even more ridiculous, and more about any other games that you can think of. The FGC is attacking them. So Fatal Fury is literally an answer to all of that. The way in which this game has been developed, the way in which the gameplay is played, is literally the answer to all of the other games, okay? There are no like ridiculous gimmicks that I have seen in the gameplay. The gameplay is pure, you know, like neutral, like 90s neutral, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it, you know, like a more traditional way of playing neutral. The game is very fast paced, and it rewards playing well. You know, it rewards using good frame trust. It rewards having a good balance between offense and defense, because there is actually good defensive mechanics. So in that sense, if you are tired and sick of other modern fighting games because you find them scruffy, or you think that they are for stupid players, or whatever you want to think about it, even though I don't necessarily agree with that, this is literally the game for you. Okay, the gameplay of this game is basically the most related or connected thing that we're gonna have to a more OG fighting game, but with some modern stuff. So in that sense, if you are waiting for a game to be what SF6 is not, what Tekken 8 is not, what, you know, Grand Blue is not, this is the game for you, and you should give it a try, man. You know, if you want something new that is actually different, that rewards defense, okay, buy this game, because you're gonna have a great time with it if that is actually what you want. Okay, so look into your heart, you know, search in your soul. Do you really want to play a game that, even though has great offense, also has good defense, good neutral? Do you really want that? Then buy Fatal Fury. Now I want to talk about more general quality of life features for fighting games that this game I think does very well, with some stuff and other things not that well. Okay, the things that this game does very well for me, I think, is roster, graphics, and sound and music. Okay, the roster of this game is very good, and the first season that has been already fully announced, I think that it is basically one of the best seasons for a fighting game that we have seen in the last years. You know, it has returning characters that are legendary, and it also has 2 guest characters from another fighting game that are iconic. Like, the first season for this game is amazing. The base roster is also very, very good, and we still lack a couple of characters that have not been announced. Again, the graphic style also is so good. Like, the game looks incredible, it looks very good, and if you don't like the game because it doesn't have like super high graphical fidelity, then you are attached or tied to playing only SF6 and Tekken 8. You should not look at any other fighting game, because those are the only ones that have arguably a high graphical fidelity, even though if you know, zoom a little on SF6, is a pretty rough game. Okay, so in that sense, if you like the art style of this game, there's nothing like it out there, basically. You know, it's the closest thing that we have to some of a comic art style nowadays, and I think that it looks very good. And then the sound and the music, it's amazing. The music in this game, it's like they're full of bangers, and people really underrate like the value of music in fighting games. It makes them very, very hype, and the music in this game is very good, and the sound design is also so good. The voiceovers for the characters, I think that in that specific, you know, stuff, SNK knocked it out of the park. So the roster, the graphics, and the sound for me are very top notch. So if you like that too, it is another reason to buy this game, because I'm gonna have a ton of fun playing this game only because the songs, dude, are so good, and the stages is gonna be very fun. Then we have the other side of the coin when it comes to, you know, quality of life features, you know, like the menus with negative edge, the training mode in the game, and other stuff. A lot of people are still complaining about the menus. They think that they are like uncomfortable. Personally, I didn't even notice about that when I played the first beta or the second one, but that is because for me it is not something relevant personally. Okay, I like the core features good, you know, I like the gameplay, the characters, the music, and the netcode and the matchmaking, and everything related to that to me is working very well. But I don't really care about something like the menus. But if you do, and that is something game breaking for you, don't buy the game, because this game on release is gonna have the same menus, okay, and the same logic for looking for room matches and stuff like that, which is not the best, of course. But personally, I wouldn't call that a reason to not buy a game. Okay, it depends on your priorities. If those things are priorities for you, and you think that they should be perfect, you know, in that sense, they should be better, yes, but they're not perfect, then maybe not buy the game, because those things are probably not gonna get better. And the same will probably happen with the training mode. Okay, this game has like a more bare bones training mode, like a more older training mode. It doesn't have that much features in comparison to new games, like, for example, SF6. SF6 arguably has the best training mode out there, and I saw some people online saying like, why does Fatal Fury not have, for example, the frame meter bar that SF6 has? And dude, like, that thing is probably trademarked by Capcom. You cannot just copy it, okay? And some people also are saying like, oh, Fatal Fury doesn't even have, you know, like a frame info stuff. We can see the frames and moves, and you can, okay? You have to turn it on. On training mode, you have to press the menu and go to attack data or something like that, and you're going to see the frames, okay? It is not that bad, but again, it is not great also. It's just functional. It is basic, okay? So if you worry about having a very, very advanced training mode, this game is also maybe not for you. If you play, you know, in the lab, if you spend most of your time labbing with amazing training modes like SF6, like, for example, Tekken 8 also has a pretty good training mode. If that is what you enjoy about games, you like labbing, then don't play this game, because it doesn't have that much features, but the game also in terms of gameplay has a lot to lap because of how the combos work and stuff like that. But the training mode is not gonna do a lot for you if you want a very, very good training mode, okay? It's just functional. Personally, I don't mind it, but I can see why some people would not buy the game or not like that the training mode is not that good. And well, then we have stuff that sadly we cannot try, like for example, single player modes, or like story modes, also customization, because they announced that we're gonna have like color customization and stuff like that, which is very good. I love that. And well, the single player mode, we don't know what's gonna be about. We know that there is some like sort of RPG inside the game, you know, like an SF6, but we cannot try that. So that is the section of the game that we don't know how it's going to be. And if you know, worry about those things a lot, if you worry about customization and like basic single player modes, you should wait for the full release to basically take a decision about buying the game or not, you know, because those things are only going to be reviewed by people when the full game comes out. So wait a little more if you like those things in particular. The last thing I would like to talk about also is the price and value, okay? In the first beta, the game, for example, in my region, didn't have any sort of regional price. It was like 55 bucks, and that includes the first season, okay? It includes Ken, Chun-Li, you know, Joe, Andy, etc. And now the game actually has regional pricing. You know, in my country, which is outside of the US, now the game is 39 bucks or 40 bucks, okay? So that is huge because nowadays, you know, video game developers are not even using regional pricing. So the fact that SNK added regional pricing to this game is very good, and it's going to make a huge difference. For me, for example, the fact that the matchmaking and the netcode has been fixed and the game has regional pricing, I'm gonna buy it. To me, it is an amazing value of a game. I'm gonna play the game a ton. The first season is actually amazing, and the game, you know, costing 40 bucks with the first season, it's very good, okay? So that is everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope that this was useful for you, and I hope that you try the game so you can take a conscious decision about buying the game or not. But this game is looking very well, okay? It's looking better and better basically every time. So let's hope that SNK knocks it out of the park and the game is a huge success. And see you on the next video, guys.
Rock you! Rock you! Let's rock! Showdown! Next time, try to copy my moves.